Hello guys, it's me, Allie. If you guys are new here, welcome. If you guys have seen my videos before, welcome back. And today we have the most excellent review for Bill and Ted 3. Now, I've been waiting years to watch this movie. So I go to Halloween Horror Nights every year, and then they had this show called the Bill and Ted Halloween Adventure show. They made fun of pop culture. It was a show they had for that event every single year until they canceled it. And they canceled it 3 years ago. And it was because they were like, oh, because the movie is coming. The movie is coming, the movie is coming. Will they bring it back? Will they not? I don't know. And we finally have it. We finally have it. As a Bill and Ted fan myself, let me just say, I loved it. I was nervous because when these movies come out years later, it normally feels forced. It normally feels like they did it because of the fact that they want to make money for the studio, not because they actually have a good story to tell. And amazingly, these guys did the complete opposite. Who would know? Like a movie coming out and then being shocked when it's good, that's a sad reality, but it was really good. Let me just say, it did not feel like it did not feel forced. It wasn't full of nostalgia, which normally when they do sequels or reboots like this, they just force the nostalgia on you sometimes, and you're like, okay, like we want to see some new things, right? And that's what they did. And I was really happy to be even surprised, because there was a lot of the film that was not on the trailer. And I was, every time I'm like, I haven't seen this scene. Well, I haven't seen that scene. So that was good. That was a good thing. So let's talk about the casting. Let's start with Alex Winter. It literally feels like it has not been 30 years. It literally feels like the same Bill. He did an amazing job. Now, Keanu Reeves also did an amazing job. Let's just think of the fact that he's John Wick right now. He's like one of the most loved people in the world, right? And he's doing all these like big box office movies, and he decided to come back for this role. You know, even though like the role did feel a little bit more like mature Ted, I still loved him in it. It still felt like Ted. Like, you know, grown up Ted, but still Ted. So I don't know if that was the intention or that's what they were going for, but I dig it. You know, unlike Alex Winter, which he was literally like 18-year-old, 17-year-old Bill. You know, I loved it. Now let's talk about Samara Weaving and Lundy Payne. Lundy Payne, I think she did an amazing, she was like Ted Part 2, Ted Jr., little Ted. She was perfect. Like from beginning to end, she just kept like first of all, the movement, right? Like they just can't stop moving, and they're like, yeah, dude, like most excellent, like most, yeah, like she did a good job. Now, Samara Weaving, even though she did a good job, it just felt really random to me. It just felt like a really random casting. She still did a good job. It's not an easy role to do, guys. So I'm all for it. I love it. I love the fact that they were kind of sort of given the plot for the first movie. I feel like their part of this movie felt like the very first one. That they had to go time traveling back. Instead of homework, it's a song. And I love that. It didn't feel forced either. It just low key. And it was good. It was really good. Next, I want to talk about the robot. The robot, Dennis Caleb McCoy. I feel like, other than the original cast and the daughters, he was the best thing of the whole movie. He was funny. Maybe people are gonna think I see if people think the opposite. Like, he was annoying. He sucks. Like, oh my god. I loved him. I laughed every time he spoke. His eye movement just are really expressive. And his eye movements are really expressive, and which makes it even funnier, right? So I did love him. I did love the I have a name. I am Dennis. I'm Dennis McCoy. I'm Dennis Caleb McCoy. I love that. And then he was like, but I want to dance. Oh, when he said, I love the way you said, let's rock. I don't know why, like, I found it funny. He was good. The humor was good with him. Now, random though. One thing that felt off was Ted's brother. He was just there random. Like, he was, at the beginning it made sense. Like, now you're marrying my little brother, like Ted's brother, after you married my dad and then you married his dad. That was funny, but it was just random to see him work with Ted's dad. To see him at the end, like, oh, we're gonna be late for the airport. That was kind of random. And, you know, it's not just anyone, it was Beck Bennett. Like, he's the SNL, like, everyone knows him from SNL, so you guys are gonna give him that role. You know, but it's whatever. Now, let's talk about Death. Death was in this. Obviously, we've seen it in trailers. Literally feels like he didn't age. Feels like the same Death. And I loved his role in this one. I did. I also love the little tribute they did for Rufus in the phone booth. That kind of made me tear up a bit. It was a very emotional movie, guys, for us Bill and Ted fans. And the ending. I want to talk about the ending. It was a really good ending. I hear some spoilers. When he said, spoiler, when they say, like, it wasn't us, it was you guys the whole time, that kind of made me tear up also. It was a very, very nice emotional moment. And the ending, the very, very end, it was a nice ending, but I was expecting more. I was like, that's it? There's no, like, post-conclusion thing that movies normally have. No, it was like the conclusion and that's it. Like, the song, that's it. But I'm not complaining, you know? The only thing is, like, man, we're probably never gonna see these characters again. I just wanted a big goodbye, but it was a nice goodbye in its own way. So I'm not gonna complain that much about the ending, even though it did leave me like, that's it? But it was good. Now, the question you guys probably have is, are the $25 worth it? Let's just talk for a second. We're in a pandemic. They're finally, instead of making it, you know, to the movie theaters or whatever, because most movie theaters are closed. Some movie theaters have this movie, some don't. So they're now selling it for $25. We're used to new movies coming out being $20. This one is $25. Is it worth it? I am a Bill and Ted fan. I've learned to appreciate Bill and Ted. And I loved it. And I think, even if you're not a huge Bill and Ted fan, it is a fun movie. I feel like fun is the perfect word to describe this movie. So I would say yes. I would say yes, watch it with the family, watch it with your closest friends. Don't have more than 10 people in a house. You know what? Don't even have more than 5 people in a house. You know, we're in a pandemic. So honestly, I do recommend this movie. I do recommend it. It is fun. It is, again, it didn't feel forced. And I love that. Because sadly, right now we have the problem that any sequel that comes from like years ago is a forced sequel. It is the sequels that are like, we're here to make money because people are gonna come for a sequel. This one was not like that at all. And it kind of sucks that we're used to the sequels from like 90s movie, 80s movies sucking, that people are probably not going to give Bill and Ted a chance. And I'm here to say, this one is the game changer. Because I know the directors were like, we wanted to make a third movie, but we wanted to make it right. And they did. Which is rare. They did, and that makes me so happy, because that gives us hope for any future reboots or sequels that we're gonna get. They were like, we're gonna make it worth your while, and it was. So what do you guys think? I'm very happy with the film. I love Keanu Reeves, I love Alex Winter. I hope this means that Halloween Horror Nights is gonna bring Bill and Ted back, because there's so many Bill and Ted fans, and I would have worn the shirt, the Bill and Ted shirt from Halloween Horror Nights, but I'm an irresponsible human being and I don't know where it is. But it's somewhere here. Just don't know where it is. Don't be like me, guys, because one day you're gonna have to review the Bill and Ted movie and you're not gonna find the shirt. So there goes my dog barking again, so that means it's time to go. Bye guys, and be excellent to each other.